Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Mother's Day. So, when Bill asked me to speak about faith, I was very nervous. The kind of nervous where you try to avoid the task at all costs. I'm still working on my faith. I think like a lot of people, which I think is okay. I don't think there's an end goal to faith. But I still didn't feel comfortable speaking directly about my faith in God. So after thinking about it, I finally came up with a way that I could talk about faith that didn't seem quite so daunting. And in the true spirit of a second semester senior, I began to write this last night at 12 a.m., something my mother would not be very proud of, so I'm sorry. Faith, in its religious affiliation, is a pretty broad, in its non-religious affiliation, is a pretty broad word. Obviously, being here, it has pretty specific implications, but if you take the word out of this kind of setting, faith can really be applied to anything. So that is why today, on Mother's Day, I'm going to talk about my faith in mothers. I would definitely not be standing here like this in front of you all in one piece without my mother. I'm graduating high school in a little less than 3 weeks, which means that I'm just on the other side of the most challenging part of high school, college applications. For those of you who have already gone through this, you know what it is like and why parents are so vital to the process. For me, it was my mom. And for those of you who haven't gone through this yet, good luck. Anyways, I want to be an actress, so I'm going to school for theater, which basically means that I wanted to make the whole college process that much more annoying and stressful than it already was. Not only did I have to do all of the tests, essays, applications, letter requests, tutoring, and keep my grades up, I also had to prepare to and go to auditions. My mom and I drove to LAX 3 times in downtown to wait around for 4 hours so I could go into a room and show a complete stranger holding my future in their hands a creative and vulnerable choice I'd made. Even though it was stressful, I made it through, and surprisingly enjoyed it because my mom was there for me. No matter how annoyed or rude I would get, she would always be there to check on me, push me, and bug me to keep on task. And because of her, I got into 1 of my 5 audition schools. Though that may seem pretty lame to some of you, it is an incredible accomplishment. Not only are the spots incredibly competitive, but the one that accepted me is not only the most selective of my 5, but out of almost all performing arts schools in the entire country. NYU Tisch School of the Arts, where I will be attending next fall, majoring in theater and minoring in dance. Thank you. That is why I have faith in mothers, because no matter how annoyed or angry or frustrated my mom and I get with each other, she will never cease to make sure I am working my hardest and reaching my full potential. She will never cease to have faith in me. Every single one of you, regardless of your relationship to your mother, good or bad, strong or non-existent, have all been touched by a mother figure. Someone who has faith in you, believes in you, encourages you, pushes you, and loves you. Throughout writing this, I came to realize that the reason I have faith in mothers is the same reason we have faith in God. Because having faith in mothers is not just having faith in a person. It is about having faith in love, kindness, compassion, selflessness, sacrifice, caring, strength, and faith. And it is for those reasons that I think faith is such an amazing word and an amazing thing to have and to be able to celebrate here together. Faith isn't reserved for one person or one belief. It is something that can be freely distributed by the beholder. So on this day, to celebrate incredibly strong and dedicated women, don't forget about the people who have cared about you and had faith in you like a mother, no matter their gender or relation to you. Because if someone has cared about you, that means that they have some faith in you, just like we have faith in God and He in us. Thank you.
My name is Lewis. My name is Clifford. We are seniors at Palisades Charter High School, and we will be attending Cal State Northridge in the fall. I'll be studying art and animation. We have been a part of the church since the age of 4. We were in Sunday school and vacation Bible school for many years. It has been a big part of our lives.
My name is Clifford, and I will be studying music and specifically trumpet. We started playing our instruments with the children's choir called Joy for Noise under the direction of Susan Kohler. She helped us form an instrumental ensemble called Joyful Jazz. Then we started playing with the worship band in church on a regular basis. One of our favorite things to play with the band is on Easter Sunday.
Our faith journey has been a wonderful part of our lives. We have traveled with the youth group to Mexico the last 4 years to build homes under the guidance of Christiana Grotlich. We hope to stay involved in the music of the church from college. We are now going to play for you the hymn Amazing Grace. Thank you for your support to us and to our mom all of these years. God has shaped our family through all of you in this church family. Thank you.
Great job, you guys. I mean, really good job. I listen to you play, and it makes me just fall in music all over again. Thank you. I want to say thank you to all of our kids that are singing today, both Graces and Zoe and Nicole and Elise and Isabella. We had Emily DeLosa wrote her own prayer for us this morning, and I think that's such a special thing. Emma for sharing, and I'm sure there's probably one or two people I'm forgetting. Grace was here this morning. It's really been quite a great team effort. Sometimes when we have Youth Sunday, unfortunately, it can go kind of like this. A church will come together and say, let's placate the youth for just 1 week. Let's let them sing their songs and do the leading, and so that way we can just ignore them the rest of the year. We can just get that out of the way. And unfortunately, I think that's true for a lot of churches. And I'm happy to say that that's not really the mode or the rhythm for BPC. It's so seemingly easy to get these kids up here because this is not the first time that they've sang with our youth band. It's not the first time that they've played in the church. And so I think one of the reasons why we do Youth Sunday and the reason and the wisdom behind it is that it helps us remind how things grow, about how faith grows. I want to give you guys a statistic because that's what you came to church to hear. The Barna Research Group has said that 80% of all Christians make some sort of faith choice before the age of 18. That 80% of those Christians. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and ask that question to you. So, of all the people here in this room, how many of you made some sort of faith choice before the age of 18? Would you just raise your hand? Yeah, wow. By show of hand, how many of you guys remember some of these kids when they were just little ankle biters? Anybody else remember some of these kids when they were just very, very little? And we get to see them grow in their faith. We watch them grow, sometimes even taller than us. We have a hard time calling them little anymore. And it just shows us the wisdom and the value and the benefit of becoming a community. That we have come together to help encourage and to nurture this. I love being Presbyterian because even in the way we do Presbyterian worship like baptism, is we recognize just one baptism for the remission of sins. And so that way we even baptize children. This idea that says we believe so strongly in God's grace in your life before you can speak, before you can choose, before you can even give worship back to God, we are dedicating you, we are committing you to God's grace and service. And if a church is doing it right, they have questions that they ask. They ask the parents, will you do this? Will you do that? And the parents say, yes, we do. Yes, we will. But then also there's questions that are asked the community of faith, now to the church. As a church, will you do this? Will you do that? Will you encourage them along their faith journey? Will you model it in your own lives? Will you support them as they walk with God? And the entire church says, yes, yes, we will. And I got so excited this morning because I said, yes, it's Youth Sunday. And I also forgot it was Mother's Day. I still have to call my mom later. Okay, that's on the list of things to do right after church. And I think Mother's Day is so fitting and so appropriate because even Jesus needed to have a good mom, right? Now, I just want to acknowledge and just say that for some of us, this is a great day. It's so much fun to be able to celebrate mothers who have cared for us and loved us. But I just also want to take a second to say that for some of us, this isn't a happy day. That some of us had mothers that were absent or neglectful, or they couldn't be the people that we needed them to be. I think about all the women who desire to be mothers themselves, and that just didn't happen for one reason or another. And so I just want to say on days like today that I see you, that I acknowledge that pain. And I think it's okay for us to hold both of those in tension today. And we celebrate mothers, and so I think about even the Holy Mother Mary, right? You know, if you go to a Catholic church, Mary's talked about a lot. Not so much in the Protestant church, but we forget that Jesus had somebody to be a mother to him. And then we also have this character of Joseph that I find so very interesting. Because if you think about it in a biologic sense, in a genetic sense, there's really nothing of Joseph in Jesus, right? As far as chromosomes and DNA goes, Jesus is not Joseph's son. But yet, there you have Joseph raising somebody that he's not biologically related to. In some sense, I think that Joseph is one of the unsung heroes of the story, because now you have somebody who is choosing to raise somebody that is not technically their own in a certain kind of way. And I think to Joseph as a great example for the church, because even I grew up without a father, that I had to rely on several different Josephs and Marys to raise me, that it was a community effort. And so I want to encourage you and I want to admonish you. What is your role in the village? If we really do believe that it takes a village, that it's not just about one people or two people kind of on their own trying to raise a child, if we really do believe that it takes a village, what is your role in the village? I know for the youth ministry, we got some exciting stuff coming up this summer. And we're doing all kinds of great stuff. We're going to be bringing back youth group, weekly programmed activities in the fall. And we need people who are going to be there consistently every week. We need safe, mature, spiritual Christians who are willing to pass on that faith to other people. We need drivers for our events. We need people who are willing to open up their homes and say, our house is your house. Everybody has some role to play. And so I want to encourage you to think about that. And if you say, Bill, I really can't give much more. I'm already devoted to this ministry. I have to have boundaries somewhere. I understand that. That totally makes sense. I get that and I encourage that. But here's what I say to you. No matter how you're involved, no matter why you're here at church, I want to encourage you to live your faith. I want to encourage you to live your faith in such a way that it helps to teach other people. So how you love one another, about how you worship God, about what you do with your time and your talent and your money, are all indications about where your heart is. I want to encourage you to live out your faith because you never know in the church who's looking up to you. Youth Sunday is that reminder that seeds that we have planted grow. Given the right condition, with God's grace and our efforts, that something wonderful happens in the life of a person. And the great thing about it is that we get to watch that. We get to be part of it. We get to help till that garden.